Continuing to overfarm, looking to CMP tie the opponent to the charge move, maximising our energy, because when that Deino does return, my god, if they don't know about Purrloin's coverage move, they're about to find out. Hashtag no baits on this channel, but does the opponent respect the damage? Well, you're going to have to watch the video to find out, so welcome back to the channel. You can see on screen, bulk is an F, we're running triple shadows in the little cup. However, the coverage is pretty good because this is quite a well thought out team. I'm looking to target specific top meta threats. As you can see, we do have pretty much everything covered. You can see on the screen that stuff like Why Not and Bronzor apparently can be quite problematic for this team. However, Vulpix has Dark Pulse coverage. Purrloin, being a dark type, should beat a psychic type. However, Why Not has access to counter, but my god, let me tell you, the little Purrloin hits like a truck. So without any further ado, let's jump into the battles. And in game one, we pick up a great lead. Alolan Vulpix into Drifloon. The opponent pivots out into the mini Greedent. It may as well be Greedent. The moveset is exactly the same. They're rocking Bullet Seed, Body Slam, and I assume Crunch. We draw an early shield. We're also going to shield in return. Powder Snow's tearing through the opponent. I'm going to look to get off this move, pivot into my safe switch, which will be Ducklett. This should now put him in a range where we can farm down. I did attempt to catch a Body Slam. The opponent, far too smart for me. They do make the Crunch. Crunch does big damage. However, Ducklett is the tankiest Pokemon on the team. I'm not willing to commit the final shield when Drifloon does return. You already know there's no baiting. We're going to YOLO the bird. The question is, does the opponent want to commit that final shield? Knowing we've got Vulpix, apparently they do. If they look to Hex Farm us all the way down, we are going to make one more Bubble Beam. Bubble Beam, pretty terrible if I'm honest. However, Shadow Ducklett does do respectable damage. They snipe with Meowth. And we're sitting in a fantastic spot. I send out Vulpix because we're going to be able to outpace to the Weather Ball. Shadow Vulpix ranked pretty high on pvpoke. I think it's like rank 11th. I had a decent IV, so I just powered it up and, to be honest, hope for the best. We do manage to Powder Snow farm them all the way down. One Hex takes us out. We can shield up this move. To be honest, I could have flexed, but this was my first ever battle, so we shield it up. The feint attack goes through and we're off to our 1-0 start. Moving on to the next one. We see Baby Greedent again in the lead. So if you're wondering why I didn't flex like I normally would, I've never used any of these Pokemon in Little Cup. I think I've only played Little Cup around 5-6 sets in my entire life, so I am winging it and hoping for the best. I did invest something like 250,000 Stardust into this team, so if you're enjoying the content, I appreciate a like because my resources are diminishing. But getting into this battle, we throw on the CMP tie, which puts us in a great spot again, because they're now energy dry. We're going to allow Vulpix to go down. We're going to look to leave the Pussycat in the back with a shield advantage. We come in with Ducklett commit to the wing attack, farm down the opponent, all down one shield, and Ducklett's got that huge nuke potential with a Brave Bird. They send in the little seal. Does the opponent want to give up that final shield? They do not. They near get one shot. We wing attack farm them all the way down. They've got Ducklett in the back. When you've got a bait move, it's really nice to debuff the opponent as they can't reset it, but we don't bait round here. We YOLO the bird, and that is all she wrote. The little pussy gets to have a little chill out on the bench. Moving on to the next one. Dreadful lead Vulpix into Seal. They do resist all of our ice type damage. I pivot into Ducklett. The opponent does stay in, so I am going to go for a very silly play of the Bubble Beam. Bubble Beam doesn't get a shield. I didn't know if Brave Bird would be one shot, and I just wanted to lower their attack on the Icy Wind. You can see it still does quite a lot. The opponent now pivots out into Sandshrew. And looking at my team comp, I probably should have seen Sonic made a Sandshrew video. I probably should have some Sandshrew counters. I do not, so we're not sitting in the best spot. The opponent does me a favour. They are going to throw their energy. I'm just going to sack my Vulpix, put it all on the little pussy, and hope we can do something in the end game. I'm going to send out Vulpix, Little Cup. Everything is super squishy. I'm just going to spam out Weather Ball. Weather Ball is double resisted, but it's still going to put it in a range where I can feint attack farm them down. The opponent farms up to what could be a Gyro Ball. I really don't care about it. The opponent goes for the Night Slash. That doesn't do enough damage. The opponent now going to dump the remainder of the energy. And I'm going to instant swap if I survive into the pussy. I'm spamming out the switch looking for the snipe. We don't snipe. Sandshrew fires off one final Night Slash. We've still got two shields. I'm going to hang on to them. The opponent sends out the Seal. We do resist the licks due to our dark typing. We're going to spam out the Night Slash fishing for the boost. We don't get a boost. We do draw a shield. We're running out of HP, so I am going to have to start shielding up whatever they throw. The opponent goes for the more expensive Icy Wind, which actually does me a favour. This allows me to overfarm substantially, fire off the next Night Slash. Night Slash will be either drawing the final shield or the knockout. The opponent's final Pokemon is Drifblim. Holy smokes, the opponent making a huge misplay. Night Slash draws the final shield and we're about to wham bam combo play, hitting him with that Big Mac and the fries, weather ball locked and loaded, and that is going to be all she wrote. Really not the best played battle there from myself, but this is the first set and I powered up 3 new Pokemon, so you're going to have to excuse my absolute potato plays. Moving on to the next battle, Vulpix into Wooper. Pretty neutral, you can see the powder snows really adding up. The opponent pivots out into Ducklett. I'm going to fire off a weather ball, either draw a shield or take the chip damage. The opponent lets it go, so I now send out Ducklett. If the opponent farms up to a Brave Bird, which they do, I am going to respect it, then commit to the wing attack farm down. The opponent full sends the bird. We wing attack farm down, we've got residual energy. Good to go, and it's Cottony in the back again. I don't know if Brave Bird one-shots, so I'm just going to fire off the Bubble Beam first. As I've got a Purrloin in the back, I'm really worried about this charm damage, so I'm going to fire off one more Bubble Beam. You can see I threw after 5. Make sure you throw after 1, 4 or 7, 2 turn versus 5 turns, but we do now manage to make the Brave Bird. Do we get the final shield or the knockout? The opponent lets it go, switch timer pops up, I pivot out into the little pussycat Purrloin, and this game should be over. This is the first time I've tanked the charge move on Purrloin, and to be honest, it isn't as squishy as I was expecting. We tanked that reasonably well. We return fire with the Night Slash. We get the final shield, so this game is now in the bag. I can just allow Purrloin to go down. I've just got to reach a weather ball. We're only 1 away, and that is all she wrote. So you can see when you're using a new team like myself, I think I normally put up pretty good timing. Sometimes you do get in a bit of a pickle, but moving on to the next one. Great lead, Vulpix into Vullaby. Holy smokes, the opponent sends out Slugma, and I have absolutely no response whatsoever. I am going to go into Ducklett, just try and get off some chip damage. The opponent shields the Bubble Beam. That lowers their attack. Even the wing attacks have got this pretty low, so I'm pretty happy with that. But I am going to have to show my third, as I don't want to take any super effective rock throws on my Shadow Ice type. We shield up the Flame Charge, commit to the Faint Attack farm down. If Vullaby does return, we're going to CMP tie to the Play Rough. The question is, does the opponent know the moveset? Because if they don't, they're about to find out. We one-shot the bulky little bird. They've got Bronzor in the back. These Faint Attacks are chunking. I am going to shield up the low health Purrloin. I'm going to throw 1 Faint Attack and the first Night Slash. Let's see if the opponent wants to shield. I think they should always let the first go because this doesn't one-shot. The second will do more damage, but I guess they're not going to survive 2 more, then throw 3 more Faint Attacks and the next one. Our switch timer will have popped up, and I'm going to go for another wham bam combo play, fire off the resisted weather ball, and that is going to be enough to take this game. Get wrecked, Bronzor. Nice knowing you, buddy. You can see somehow I managed to go 5-0 in the set, despite a few misplays here and there, but I'm pretty happy with the result. Moving on to some bonus battles. We lead Vulpix into Shelmet. Pretty neutral-ish matchup. I believe I did think this was a fairy type at first, as I've never used Vulpix. Apparently it's a mono ice type. I am a noob. The opponent goes for the body slam. If you throw at good timing, like I did, 1, 4 or 7, you will CMP tie to the next body slam. You can see the opponent did hit the charge move. Vulpix has the highest attack. They're already down 1 shield. This next one does connect, and I think we're just going to allow Vulpix to go down. We always like to take shield advantage for the little pussycat to come into Ducklett. The opponent pivots out into Mini Greedent, and you already know that we're going to be YOLOing the bird. I'm going to allow this charge move to go through. Body slam does a lot of damage. Holy smokes, I wasn't expecting it to do all that much, but I'm still YOLOing the bird. Brave Bird draws the final shield. We've now got 2 shield Purrloin coming in, trying to have some fun. We are going to have to start shielding up, as we are going to run out of HP. I shield up the body slam. Throw 1 more Faint Attack and the Night Slash. Night Slash does a lot of damage. This kitty has some claws. It really chunks the opponent. Sends back out Shelmet. I am just going to shield once, commit to the farm down. My thinking here is that 2 Pokemon versus 1 is better. We do get the farm down. What is that final Pokemon? It is a Kanto Vulpix, one of the few Pokemon I actually had built for this cup. I might run it at some stage. The opponent fires off on CMP, but this little kitty doesn't like to lose CMP. We fire off the Night Slash, and we manage to take that game. Moving on to the next one. Vulpix into Bronzor. Not a particularly good matchup for us. However, we do at least have Dark Pulse to hit him for some big damage. The opponent actually chooses to give up Switch, which is pretty questionable, so I'm going to fire off the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse lands for decent damage, and stay in school, kids. Learn to count. I catch the Aqua Tail on our Ducklett and that does absolutely nothing. I'm hoping I can wing attack farm them down before the Icy Wind. I cannot, so I'm going to fire off the Bubble Beam just before they get there. Bubble Beam will knock out from this range. The opponent looks to shield just to get the move off as we've debuffed them. I am not going to shield this up. We can easily tank one Icy Wind. It does get us low. I'm just going to get farmed down by the Bronzor anyway. And speaking of which, I'm going to lower my own defense and YOLO the Brave Bird just to make the farm down a bit quicker. Brave Bird does absolutely nothing with the debuff. Holy smokes, we can now realign our Pokemon. The opponent instantly pivots out into their little spider. I'm going to fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash draws the final Protect Shield. I've got the Weather Ball locked and loaded. They're a sub-ground type. This is going to do huge damage. The opponent has no shields. It lands for massive damage. I could shield this up, but to be honest, I may as well save 2 shields. Night Slash takes us out. I feint attack farm them all the way down, back out. Comes Bronzor. We've got triple shadows. They've got a pretty meta team, but it don't really matter as Night Slash is enough to take that game with a very nice 2 shield flex. You love to see it. Moving on to the next one. Vulpix into Deino. You absolutely love to see it. The opponent pivots into Bronzor, and this is exactly the team I was looking to counter. I'll be honest, I just pick top meta teams. I look to troll them, and this opponent is about to get trolled. The opponent can throw whatever they like. They go for the Psyshock. That does absolutely nothing. I'm now going to overfarm throw on CMP. This Night Slash will either be knocking out or drawing the final Protect Shield. The opponent lets it go, and when Deino does return, let's see if this BBML player knows the moveset, because if they don't know about Purrloin's coverage, my god, are they about to find out. This Deino is almost at full health. We full send the Play Rough, one-shots them, returning them to their Pokeball. They've got Why Not, the most basic bitch meta team of them all. We've got Ducklett, and that is another very nice 2 shield flex. Moving on to the next one. Vulpix into another Deino. This one is shiny, you can see. As we aren't a sub fairy, these Dragon Breaths are tearing us apart. I go for the Weather Ball, looking to get early shield advantage. The opponent does shield. If they don't throw a move, we would get to another one. The opponent's counting absolutely on point. They throw the Body Slam just as soon as we get into the next Weather Ball, and now send in Ducklett. Look to go for the farm down. The opponent makes a move on 1 HP and a Dream. I am going to shield it up, as I know I'm likely going to be able to get a shield back, as Ducklett has that Brave Bird coverage. They send in Lickitung. Licky, aka Licky too thicky, but are you thick enough? Clearly not, trainer. They near get one shot. We see the instant pivot. It's going to be Purrloin into Seal. We resist the licks due to being a dark type. We throw the Night Slash fish in for the boost. No boost. I don't think I got a boost the whole time I use this Pokemon, but the opponent concedes, and we're moving swiftly on. So we see Vulpix into Ducklett. This opponent is a man of culture, running the Shadow Ducklett. I am going to throw the neutral Weather Ball, looking for some chip damage or a shield. The opponent lets it go. I'm going to call the bait. Come on, trainer. Throw the Bubble Beam. And the trainer must be a follower of the channel, as they full nuke me. They pivot out into a Shadow Zubat, running by. I bank some energy, pivot out into Purrloin, and I've already noticed that they're going to be running triple Shadow, double bite, and I'm about to get wrecked. We do resist the bikes, but you can see in Little Cup, 500 CP Pokemon don't really tank any moves. This fast move pressure still tearing us apart. I farm up as much as I can. The opponent sends back out their Ducklett. I am going to have to throw this as soon as possible. I go for an undercharge, but there's no undercharge that will save them. The opponent has the Skunky. I need to get to 3 Bubble Beams. Come on, Ducklett. Please get there. Please get there. We fire with the first. The opponent smartly shields. If they let one through, they'd be in trouble. We make Bubble Beam number 2. We've now double debuffed the bite damage. Can we make one more? We cannot. GG's, Mr. Opponent. We don't mind losing to triple shadows, even if you are a fast move pressure team. Moving on to the next one. Vulpix into Shelmet. The opponent overfarms. I continue to overfarm. We do tank any one move. The opponent throws the Body Slam, and ouch, that hurts. We're not the bulkiest. I am now going to throw the Weather Ball. The opponent has the energy for the Body Slam, but I'm at the back-to-back. I spam it out. We win CMP. This is absolutely best case scenario. So if you're going to use Vulpix, this is how I like to play this matchup. I'm going to allow Vulpix to go down and look to wing attack farm them all the way down. I imagine the opponent probably going to pivot, not wanting us to farm down. They pivot out into Seal, and it's time for the Brave Bird. The opponent already down 1 shield. Do they commit the final shield? Yes, they do. So we're now going to send out the Pussy. I need to start shielding something. Am I going to shield this up? Apparently I'm not. Icy Wind does quite a lot. I am going to overfarm, fire off the Night Slash, but Night Slash won't be enough to knock out as they've debuffed me. I don't know why I didn't shield that. In hindsight, the opponent lets me get to one more Night Slash. Night Slash will be securing the knockout. I guess I'm looking to Brave Bird something in the back. The opponent sends back out the Shelmet. We can now wing attack farm them all the way down. I'm going to have to start using these shields. I shield up the body slam. Show me something I can nuke. Come on, trainer. The opponent has a Skunky and high Skunky. It's going to be time for a bang. There it is. Shout out Oxford U. For that quote, we wing attack down and take another dub. Moving on to the next one. Vulpix into Seal. You can either switch straight out into Ducklett, or you can try and be fancy, throw 6 Powder Snows, attempt to catch. I don't catch, so I'm now going to have to eat an Icy Wind to the face. Icy Wind doesn't do all that much damage. The opponent now sends out Deino, and we're going to YOLO the Brave Bird. This will be one shot, and unless the opponent shields up, they commit their shield. However, we have a higher attack, so I think that's a pretty questionable shield. And just come back in to Vulpix and win CMP. On the Weather Ball, the opponent didn't throw, taking the extra, so this perhaps means they might double shield. The opponent lets it go, completely sacking the Deino back out. Comes the Seal, I'm reaching for the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse will be doing big neutral damage. The opponent actually commits the final shield, so I pivot out into my 2 shield kitty. Looking for the sweep, we are going to shield up. Whatever they throw, they go. For the more expensive Icy Wind, they now send out a Feint Attack Vullaby. Vullaby, much like Mandibuzz, super bulky. They're probably hoping the debuff saves them from our play rough coverage. It does not. It still does huge damage. I can easily shield this up. Feint Attack farm all the way down. The Seal is going to need to dump his energy to take us out. However, we will outpace to the Night Slash. The opponent needs to farm up to the back-to-backs, but they're left on 1 HP. Not quite, but they're pretty low, so they are going to have to throw before we get to the next Night Slash. And this big fat Seal is about to get resisted Powder Snow farm down for another impressive dub. So those were the battles with my Triple Shadow anti-meta team in the Little Cup. I've been on YouTube for over 2 years now, and that's the first time I've ever showcased my own battles in the Little Cup, because I really don't play it or know the meta, so I did spend a lot of resources to bring you this content. So I'd really appreciate you smashing that like button, showing your support. Unfortunately, I don't have the resources to build many Open Master League Pokemon, so I'm going to continue to spend resources to bring some unique Shadow content to the channel in the Little Cup. If you like your battles though featured in either Little Cup or the Master League, a link to my battle submission form is down below. As always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.